Tonight on Primetime Local News, HE Burgoyne has a new classroom specifically for students with mental health needs. Plus, the Lakeland Wrestlers hosted a volleyball tournament with games at ES Laird. We also take a look back into the archives with this week's edition of Retrospect.
Do you think I want to take $4 a bushel off the combine? And I don't think too many people would be happy about that. I know I wouldn't farm.
Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
A classroom for students with mental health needs has been set up at a school in Bonnyville. Stacey Comer has more on why it was set up and how it is different from regular classrooms.
I have a special guest joining me today on Primetime Local News. Tanya Kendall is here. Tanya is the Senior Manager of Clinical Operations for CASA Mental Health. Tanya, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we have a special project that we're going to be talking about today, but the first thing I want to ask is, what exactly is CASA?
So CASA Mental Health is a nonprofit organization, and we serve children aged 3 to 18 and their families. And we have been delivering care in the Edmonton area since 1988. Throughout the last 40 years or so, we, of course, have expanded from just Edmonton to provide service for Northern Alberta and Central Alberta. And then in the last year or so, we are expanding provincially through our delivery of CASA classrooms and expansion of our CASA house and day program throughout the province.
So there is a CASA classroom at HE Burgoyne School, and that's what we wanted to talk a little about today. So can you tell me, what is a CASA classroom? What does that mean, and how is it different from a regular classroom?
Absolutely. So if you can think of a world where we have mental health services that show up where kids already are, there's no need for caregivers to schedule an appointment and take time off work. And that support is where the families need it, built right into their lives. That's essentially the premise of the CASA classroom. So we were really very much about bringing that feeling and that service to where kids are at in the community. We know since COVID, we know it's always been there, but really since COVID, it's come up into our faces that there's this need for mental health supports for kids. Just beyond, they might have gone to see their family doctor, they might have gone to see a community therapist, but they need that little bit of extra support. But they don't need to go to the emergency department, and they don't need to be admitted into an acute care facility to deal with their mental health. They just need that little bit extra, what we have termed the missing middle. So they've gone to their family doctor, got that support, and they just need that little bit more. They're still struggling at home with their peers, maybe at school. And that's where we're able to come in there and provide mental health comprehensive support right in their classroom, in their school division.
Have you had quite a bit of support for this classroom at HE Burgoyne School?
Absolutely. Northern Lights School Division has been a wonderful partner so far. They are very innovative and recognize the need for mental health services. So once there's this opportunity through CASA and the government of Alberta to partner, they were on board pretty quick. So they provided us with a classroom in a school, and they provided us with a teacher who is interested and experienced in mental health supports for kids in a learning environment. And then we've been able to partner and provide our classroom team who works right in the school, as well as our support team that works around the team here right in Bonnyville.
So how do the students get into this classroom? Is it like an application process, or do teachers recommend them, or how does it work to get the students into this program?
So to get into the program, students need to have had some mental health intervention previously. So as I mentioned, through your family doctor, a community therapist, in places we've identified a gap, right? We know that sometimes there's not family doctors and an ability to access private community therapy. Some schools have been really fantastic with their learning supports teams being able to provide some interventions and identify that some of these kids need a bit of extra support. So they're able to be identified. We have a very simple process. There's just a referral. So obviously the parents need to be engaged and aware, and they do a form and the school does a form. And if they do have a family doctor or a community therapist, there's a portion for them to fill out as well. And then essentially we come together and we do what's called a needs assessment to essentially see what services the child has already had and what services we can provide in that classroom setting. And then we really look at it from the mixed perspective. So the children have to be capable of participating and understanding concepts. They do a mix of academic and group and individual therapy. We really concentrate on some social emotional learning so that these kids can be successful when they go back to their regular school program. And then throughout all that, our goal is that successful transition. So as soon as they start, we work really closely with their home classroom, a home teacher, homeschool, to really build that transition. So they might have connection visits. They might do Terry Fox Run, for instance, with their home classroom. If there's like Christmas concerts, we really want that engagement, because at the end of the day, this is a very small focused classroom, but they're going back to a much larger classroom in a regular school. So how can we help them be successful?
So if people are looking for more information on this program or are interested in possibly having this, in their school, because it is such a, obviously such a need. Every time you see in people talking on social media, it's how can we help kids? There seems to be this gap, and this is just such a great program, Tanya. So if people are looking for more information, whether it be to get their kids involved or to have it brought to their school, where is the best place they can go to find this information or to get in touch with CASA?
So they can go to our website, casamentalhealth.org. And on there, if they go to programs, they'll find CASA Classrooms. And all the information is on the website about how to contact us if you're a school division, if you want to partner, as well as more information for parents. There's the handbook on there that just gives a really great understanding, breakdown of what a school looks like from elementary. So we serve grades 4 through 12. And generally how that works for each group of grade levels. So junior, high school, and elementary school.
Well, Tanya, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And let's chat again in the future and get an update on how this program is going, because it's just an amazing program and what a great opportunity for kids that need the help. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
It's time now for the business report. Here is Ravi Jayaseelan.
This week in retrospect, we travel back to 1991, where Premier Grant Devine announces the election date.
I'm going to call the election tonight, and we're going to win.
Through phone lines to H. Torrey constituency office in the province Friday night, Premier Grant Devine called the election for October 21st. Candidate Jerry Spence and members of his Turtle Ford constituency listened in on the announcement and prepared to hit the campaign trail. But first, Devine made a move on the NDP.
I challenge Mr. Romano tonight to get off of Highway number 11 between Regina and Saskatoon and meet me in Yorkton for a leaders' debate on October the 1st, Swift Current for a leaders' debate on October the 9th, Prince Albert on October the 16th, and Lloydminster on September the 25th, and we'll talk about leadership and vision for the province of Saskatchewan.
I find this challenge of Grant Devine's really to be a bit of a joke. This comes
Saturday in the border city, NDP leader Roy Romano and local riding candidates shot down the debate proposal.
This comes from a person who had an obligation to call the election before this time so that all the people could debate his policies, and he denied this election until the very, very last moment.
The challenge for a debate continues to stand, according to the PC party headquarters, and should Romano show up in Lloydminster on Wednesday, Grant Devine will be there as well.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Coming door to door, saying hello to you this morning.
All three candidates in the Cut Knife Lloydminster riding are on the campaign trail.
Most people just want to say hello. They'll be reading their stuff over at home.
and watching TV and looking over the issues. But some people are right ready there. Very intelligent people today. I mean, people are well read, and they've got some really good ideas.
Liberal Aldo Dralfrari of Cutknife is hitting as many doors as possible.
It's a big riding. I'm going to try and pound the beat as much as possible. I have a lot of people out there that are willing to spread the good word about me.
And incumbent Michael Hoffner is standing behind the Tory record.
Up until Election Day, I plan on going through what the record had been in the past, working with the various groups throughout the constituency. There isn't one part of this riding that hasn't had something brought to them through Grant Devine government and through working with me and lobbying for dollars for this riding.
Michael Higgins, NewsHour.
Next, we jump forward to 1996, when Farmers for Justice elaborate on their stance.
We need market choice.
That's the stance growing numbers of producers and the group Farmers for Justice have taken. The organization was started about 4 years ago when a small group of farmers began making border runs protesting the Canadian Wheat Board's export monopoly.
A lot of farmers think that the Canadian Farmers for Justice want the Wheat Board abolished. Well, they've never ever said that. They want the freedom to market their grain wherever they want, when they want.
Hurley says the group's position on the Canadian Wheat Board is one of the biggest misconceptions people have. While many of their platforms stand directly opposite the CWB, they say it's not the board itself, but the way it's run that they disagree with.
There's a lot of good things about the Wheat Board, but the problem is it's the government control of it. Like, the Wheat Board would be the best thing in the world if the government wasn't involved.
Hurley says it's that government involvement that has turned the board into a cash cow. And with the proposed new CWB Act, the board is now eyeing the addition of all crops to its jurisdiction.
Canola, for example. Do you think I want to take $4 a bushel off the combine and maybe get $8, $19.99? I don't think too many people would be happy about that. I know I wouldn't farm.
Over the years, the Farmers for Justice have questioned a number of the CWB's practices, asking things like why the board's monopoly powers end at the Manitoba-Ontario border, why dual marketing would not work, and why initial prices are often set much lower than world market prices.
They're at $3.51 right now, which is, right now it's a bad time.
The group has in the past taken radical action such as border runs to increase awareness of those issues. However, Hurley doubts whether there will be any more in the future. One of the group's higher profile members, David Bryan, is in court in November facing border run related charges, and the group now feels legal action is the best way to settle the issue.
You could do 1,000 border runs. You think the government's going to listen to you? We want to win the court case first.
How large of a precedent would that set?
We'd get dual marketing, is what we're after.
And that's all for this week in Retrospect.
Retrospect is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Find New Holland products at Webb's Machinery, your dealer in Vermilion, Vegreville, Lamont, Wainwright, St. Paul, and Consort.
And we'll have more Primetime local news after the break. Pet's Purpose Animal Shelter is in need of a number of donations, as well as fosters. Abby St. John has more on how you can help.
A Pet's Purpose is a nonprofit animal shelter here in the city, and I'm happy to be joined here today by the Vice President, Neil Zellweger. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us, Abby. We're always really grateful when we get so much community support and so much of you guys showcasing us in the community, because it's really important. So thanks again for picking our organization and shedding some light on it.
Absolutely. Like I told you earlier, if it has something to do with animals, I'm there for it. I'm a huge animal lover and advocate, so I'm very happy to be giving this coverage for you guys. And like I said, you guys are a nonprofit organization and you rely 100% on volunteers and donations, and you're currently in need of both donations and fosters. But just to start, let's start with the donations and what you're specifically in need of and how people can donate.
Yeah, so again, we're always really, really grateful for all of the community support because we wouldn't be able to do what we do without members of the community, volunteers, fosters, just everybody that's willing to help out, whether it's donations, just any little bit that each person is able to contribute. Together as a collective, we can make a huge difference and be a catalyst for change. So as far as what we're needing right now, we don't have a building, but we do have a lot of dogs that need fosters, they need our help. So the more fosters that we have, the more that we're able to outreach and help more animals in need. And there is a lot around our community in the areas outside of Lloydminster and surrounding areas. And right now we just got a mom and pups. They were just dropped off. The pups didn't even have their eyes open. So a lot of it is really sad seeing how some of those animals go through such a tough time. But when we have the help of the community and everybody, we can actually give them a second chance at living their purpose. So right now we need Purina puppy chow so that we can feed the pups. We need pee pads, we need hard toys, paper towel, fleece blankets for the pups, and then stainless steel dishes. So we ask for stainless steel specifically because we have to make sure that we can sanitize them properly so we're not contaminating and hurting any of the animals. So any bit of donations, and then we're always grateful for any financial donations, which can all be made on our website. You can go on the website. We do have a Facebook group, so if you add yourself into the group, all the updates are there. And then as far as the donation drops, if you have any donations, we're working on finding a location to drop them off. But for now, if you just message us on Facebook or email us, which can be found on our website, which is petspurpose.com, then we'll be able to send you in the right direction of where to drop stuff off. But thank you very much for all of your donations.
And as far as fosters go, what are you looking for in terms of fosters, and how is the process, or how does the becoming a foster process kind of work for you guys?
Yeah, so fostering is a really great way if you maybe are on the go all the time, you don't feel like you have the full-time commitment to be able to give to a dog. And we hear that so often when people say oh, I'm too busy, but then you see all these animals that are homeless, they're starving, or they're stuck in kennels. And even if you can foster, it's a short-term way of, we have a community here. So the more people we have, the more we're able to help each other and help the dog. So if you're interested in fostering, then what you can do is, again, you can reach out. There's the application on our website, or you can go into the Facebook or email us. Really, any way that you want to communicate with us, we can send you a link. And to become a foster, you need to either have landlord approval or you need to own your home, just so that obviously we know that you're allowed to have the animal there. And then just being able to follow along. And then once you fill out the application, we'll be in touch with you guys and let you know the next step in becoming an approved foster and working with our organization.
That sounds wonderful. And the beauty of this city is that people do really come out and support organizations like like a Pet's Purpose, and that's wonderful. Is there any other way that people can give back as well, or reach out to help or volunteer? How can they do so as well? Or is that something that you are looking for as well, those volunteers?
We always need volunteers. Again, we're 100% volunteer and donation based. So donations are greatly appreciated, but volunteers. So even if you don't have the money or you don't have the resources, but you have the time and you want to help in some way, please reach out to us. You can fill out a volunteer form on our website, the same process, or reach out to us. And however we can accept help, we would love to find a way to make it work. Obviously, we're just a new rescue and we're growing. So as we grow, we're going to need more and more help. So the more community involvement we have, the more people that want to help, the larger of a mission we're going to be able to accomplish together. So it's all about co-elevation, which is a community-based collaborative model, right? So if you want to help, we're happy to have you help any way that you can.
That sounds wonderful, and you guys are such a fantastic organization, and I can't wait to see how much you guys do grow and where you go from here. So thank you again for joining me, and I hope this helps with your donations and the fosters that you're in need of. So thank you again.
Yeah, thanks again, and thanks to the community, everybody, for your support. We really are grateful for everybody's help.
And that's all for news. Sports is next, but first, here's a look at your closing market.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
The Lakeland Rustlers hosted a volleyball tournament this past weekend with men's and women's teams from across the province coming to compete. With all the teams competing, some of the games needed to be played outside of the Lakeland gyms at ES Laird. ES Laird played host to 3 games on the weekend, bringing college-level volleyball into the Sabres gym.
Here in Lloydminster and across Saskatchewan, you know, we've seen a real explosion of club volleyball. We've got lots of students in our building who are involved in Rustlers Club Volleyball and club volleyball here in the city. Really fortunate for, you know, not just our club volleyball players here at ES Laird, but our whole student body to get a real good look at, you know, what hard work and dedication can lead to one day.
The kids were cheering hard for their hometown Rustlers, which was especially appreciated by the head coach of the Rustlers, who was also a teacher at the school.
You know, I hope the kids enjoyed it. Like the atmosphere and the environment in here was awesome. It just kind of was circumstance as to why I brought a game to this gym, as we just didn't have quite enough court space at the college. But now that I saw what the event kind of looked like for the afternoon, this is something that I would definitely look at continuing to do.
The Rustlers took on the Keano Huskies in the midday matchup. The first set was incredibly tight, with the Huskies narrowly coming away with the first set victory. After the Rustlers took over and won 3 straight sets to take the win.
Honestly, it was great to get back onto the court with these girls. We've worked hard the last 2 years, and we just keep building and watching it happen, like what we've been training the last 3 weeks, just come out and onto the floor. We look very comfortable, and I think this is going to be a great year for us again.
The Rustlers will continue their preseason with their first game of the ACAC season coming on October 25th against the Augustana Vikings. Thomas Wildman, Primetime, Local News. And now we will take a look at your lovely pets with our pet picks of the day.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.